Hi, welcome back to another video. As I've gotten deeper into my 20s, there's a couple of things I want to share with you today in hopes that you don't make the mistakes or it helps you get through your younger 20s. First of all, being in your 20s is a time where you get to learn yourself, get to learn the world around you, and learn where your place is in this world. During this time, a lot of things in your life may fall apart, but to be completely honest with you, it's better that they fall apart sooner than later. As I'm in the last couple of years in my 20s, I realized that when started to hit the fan in my younger 20s, my emotions were just so high that I look back now and I think about, wow, like I could have handled that differently. That might happen all the time in your life, but you get better at it. I started to realize that my emotions got the best of me when I felt like my life was all of a sudden in turmoil. Just because you are doing everything right, meaning you have graduated high school, now you're going off to college, now you have a job, and you're a decently good person, and all of these things that you feel like you will be granted with life not lifing with you is a false sense of security. And to be completely honest with you, that is just not life. Just because you are doing everything right does not mean that everything is going to go right. And I think that is just so important to know when you are navigating this world. Being in your 20s, life is a series of ebbs and flows. But once you get through all of those emotions and once you realize that you've overcome certain things in your life, you'll realize that all of those things happened for you and not to you. They happen to help you grow and to take you to that next step, because at the end of the day, if you did not go through certain things in your life, you will not be where you see yourself in the future. And even if you have an idea of what you want your life to be in the future, it is still molding you for that time period. Although you might be going through a rough time in your life, does not mean that you should stop investing in yourself and doing things that will propel you forward in your future, because you're not always going to feel sad or down or confused or lost. You're not always going to feel that way. So although you might feel that in your current time, you should continue to do what it is that you're doing if it's good for you anyway. For example, if you're continuing to go to school, or if you are continuing to have a job that is important for you to at least be able to save money, invest in yourself, being able to give yourself experiences that help you get to the next version of yourself, but to just completely let your emotions take over and for you to just stop everything that you're doing in your life is not recommended, because the world will not stop for you. And you will realize that if you let time pass because your emotions are getting the best of you and you just freeze in time, well, the sad thing is, once you decide that you want to freeze in time, the world is going to continue to keep going. And once you feel prepared to move on or to continue to invest in yourself again, you're going to realize that you spent time focusing on your feelings and not enough time just pushing through that moment, because at the end of the day, you're always going to make it through the moment that you're in. It's not going to last forever. Once again, life is filled with ebbs and flows, and you have to learn how to give yourself grace in those moments where things just feel crappy. But at the end of the day, you get up and you go do that thing, and you get up and you invest in yourself, because you will look back and think about that time. You might have felt like crap, but you're so much happier that you continue to propel and move forward in your life, because you'll look back and just be like, I'm so glad I didn't stop, because at least I'm milestones from where I was. And yes, that was not a good feeling that I felt for myself, but I am doing so much better now. And you will see that if you stop doing what you're doing and you stop investing in yourself, that won't be the same response to your past self. You might even feel down for the fact that you just didn't continue to keep going. Speaking from experience, when I felt really down in my early 20s, I continued to go to school, I continued to work, try my best to get through it. And even though now I'm not exactly where I want to be, life is a journey, I am so happy that I didn't quit on myself then, because I'm milestones from where I was. And I had a lot of accomplishments even in that time where my mental health wasn't the best. So that is just coming from personal experience. And I really recommend that you continue to invest in yourself out even when your mental health is just feeling like just not the best. Be okay with the fact that not all relationships are going to last forever. Means for romantic relationships, platonic relationships. I know that when relationships end, it's always like a sad feeling, or you might even be upset about it, like angry about it, but not everyone can go where you're going. So if you are feeling down about the fact that, that friendship didn't work out or that relationship didn't work out, just know that if it's meant to circle back, it will. But for the most part, that relationship was supposed to be a season in your life to teach you something. Everyone you come across with in this world will teach you something. They're not always good things, but they're always something to teach you, so you're able to navigate through life or teach something to you about yourself, and you know how to maybe treat the next person, or maybe how to even not treat the next person, or better yet, you know how to treat yourself at the end of the day. Some people are just for seasons in your life. I like to describe relationships in this world as a tree. Some people are roots, and they're going to be the ones that are really in for the long haul. Some people are going to be branches, and they're there for a little longer than the people that are just leaves. They fall off the quickest. They go through the seasons, but at the end of the day, not all your relationships are going to last, because not everyone is meant to go with you to the next stage in your life. And some people are just simply here to move you forward into that next part of your life. So never feel like you are missing out on a relationship that had to come to an end. To be completely honest with you, I was just very isolated in my younger 20s, and I was just really focusing on myself, and I felt really down that, a lot of my relationships were seeming like they have failed or have left me, and I felt very lonely. But now I come out on the other side of it, really trusting myself and feeling really good in myself. And some of those relationships have come back to me. I just thank the universe for that time period, because I 100% lean on myself, and I feel so confident in myself that I can do this on my own if I were ever in that situation again where it just kind of felt like I was alone. And at the end of the day, there's always someone there who cares about you. So when you do feel like you are alone, you may not be. You might just be searching in the wrong place, or be looking at all the people who aren't there instead of looking at all the people who are in your face and just begging to show you love. When you feel stuck in life, that is the new version of yourself trying to hold on to the past version of yourself, and you are unable to let new energy into your life because you are still mourning this past version of yourself, because maybe you missed that person and you're like, wow, like I used to be like this and I used to be like that, and you cannot even fathom growing out of that and growing into a new person. Once you realize that this new version of you is trying their best to form and take you to new heights, and once you've just given yourself grace to realize that old version of you worked for that time period, but it's time to move on now, because that cannot serve you to where you need to go, and you feel stuck because you have this resistance to becoming someone new. Although you know you're becoming someone new, you're having like this strange resistance because you feel as though you really liked that person you used to be, and it's not that that person that you used to be is completely just gone. Take bits and pieces of that old version of yourself that will carry you through in a positive way to the next step, but all those parts that are flawed and that you've grown and gotten wisdom from, it's time to move on. It's time to let that energy of feeling stuck, give your old version grace, and just lay them to rest. They have done what they needed to do to bring you upon this point, and you can always look back and think about the times that were good, or if they weren't good, move on and wash your hands with it and realize that, you needed those experiences to make you who you are. You can choose to reinvent yourself at any time of the day, any moment of your life, you can choose to reinvent yourself. If you decide that you all of a sudden want to be someone completely different than who you were yesterday when you woke up, you have free will to do so. You will have to think about it constantly that you want to be a new version of yourself. Bringing repetition in your head that, hey, I've decided to be this person, and that old version of yourself is always going to try to peek through if you don't consciously keep up with the fact that you are trying to be a better version of yourself. And during this period of you trying to be a better version of yourself, invest in yourself in different ways, find confidence in yourself, you're going to find that you are going to be around people that have known you for a while, that want to bring you back into this old version of yourself, because people feel more comfortable in the state that they know you best. So they will try to pull you in back to an old version of yourself that just doesn't resonate with you anymore. And the best way for you to move on and not internalize these things is to actually know that this is a part of growing and becoming a new version of yourself, is the fact that other people are going to try to pull you back to where you were because it's more comfortable for them. You don't need to budge to what other people want for you. This is your life, and if you want to continue to be a better version of yourself, you can do that. You don't have to listen to what other people think that they know of you. It really doesn't matter. It's all about where you're going. Choose to be happy. Everything that I've just described before is a mindset, right? Choosing yourself, choosing to move forward, choosing to overcome your mind and not let your mind tell you what you're going to do. You are the driver in your life. When you choose to be happy and you choose to see a different perspective in your life, that is what's going to motivate you to continue to move on and be better and continue to move through the storm, because winners and strong people move through the storm even though life in that wind is just really blowing back at them. They continue to move through that, and that's those people who persevere. And when you see people who are doing really well in life, it's not because nothing bad happened in their life, it's just that they continued to keep going and didn't let those stormy days just rain on them. They just continued to choose themselves, and to have fun with it and to have fun with those moments is to choose to be happy. And that's one thing that I wish that I would have known in my earlier 20s, was to choose to be happy, was to choose to enjoy the fact that it didn't always feel good. That's all I have for today. If you have any tips with dealing with those days in your life that just don't feel so great, or those moments, please leave that in the comments below, and I will see you next time.